Hello, friends. Welcome to part 1 of your reading lesson for today. We are on day 12 of Module 3, and we have been learning all about wind. Let's take a look and remind ourselves of our essential question, or the really big boulder-sized question that we have been learning so far in this module. This is the question that we will be able to answer by the time we finish Module 3, and that is, how do people respond or react to the powerful force of the wind? Now, the question we've been trying to answer since we started reading Gilberto and the Wind, so it's like a few days it takes to answer this question, is how do characters respond or react to the powerful force of the wind? So that would be similar to our essential question, except we're just talking about the characters in the story, Gilberto and the Wind. Then today, the question we'll be able to answer by the end of our lesson today is, what is the important message of Gilberto and the Wind? So we are going to join Miss Spears to find out by reading some parts of the text that we've already read, and thinking about how Gilberto interacts with the wind, okay? And then after you have decided what you think the important message is, you're going to write it in your journal. I'm going to show you where you're going to turn in your work today too. All right, let's take a look at this slide. So after you write your important message from Gilberto and the Wind in your journal, you will either type the answer here on this line, or you can insert a picture of what you wrote in your journal onto this slide, okay? This says right here, you can either type the important message in the box below or write it in your journal and insert a picture on this slide, okay? That is part 1. So then I will see you back soon for part 2. Enjoy.
Hello, first grade friends, and welcome back to Wit and Wisdom in Sync. My name is Tanisha Spears, and I'm excited to jump into our lesson for today. But before we do, let's make sure you have your materials ready. For this lesson, you will need handout 15A, which is Gilberto and the Balloon. You'll need your Wit and Wisdom in Sync journal and a pencil. Pause the video now if you need to gather your materials. In previous work, we looked at sensory and feeling words in the text Gilberto and the Wind, and you had a chance to select and write 2 responses to a problem. Today, you'll think about the important message in the text, as well as think about how to write a resolution to a problem. The question that will frame our work for today is, what is the important message in this text? And you will identify key evidence in the text and use that evidence to find the important idea or message in the text. And I want to remind you, by looking at the interactions between the wind and Gilberto, it can help you determine an important message. Okay, friends, now remember, in the text Gilberto and the wind often acts like a person. And now I'm going to look back at parts of the text to figure out how the wind acts in the story. Listen as I read a few pages. At first, Wind is gentle and just floats my balloon around in the air. But then with a jerk, he grabs it away and carries it up to the top of a tree. Wind, oh wind, I say, blow it back to me, please. But he won't. He just laughs and whispers, you. On these pages, the wind upsets Gilberto by taking his balloon away. Let's read a little more. And Wind loves umbrellas. Once when I took one out in the rain, he tried to take it away from me. And when he couldn't, he broke it. And on these pages, the wind breaks Gilberto's umbrella. Now I want you to think, how is the wind acting? Share with your learning partner or just share aloud. I really wish I could have heard what you shared. Here is what I think. The evidence shows that the wind is mean and he is acting unkindly to Gilberto in these interactions. Let's continue by looking at some other scenes in the book. Listen carefully. And when I have a pinwheel, Wind comes and plays too. First, I blow it myself to show him how. Then, I hold it out or hold it up, and Wind blows it for me. And when he blows it, he turns it so fast that it whistles and sings, and all I can see is a blur. On these pages, I see Gilberto and the Wind have fun blowing pinwheels together. Let's read a little more. Wind likes my soap bubbles best of all. He can't make the bubbles, I have to do that, but he carries them way up into the air for the sun to color. Then he blows some back and makes me laugh when they burst in my eyes or on the back of my hand. And on these pages, I see that Gilberto and the Wind laugh together when Gilberto blows bubbles and the Wind lifts them up. Now think, how is the Wind acting? Share with your learning partner or just share aloud. Here's what I think. The evidence shows that Gilberto and the Wind are having fun together as friends, and the Wind is kind to Gilberto. Did you think of something similar? Okay, let's review the evidence we've collected. What did you notice about how Gilberto and the Wind play together? Think. Share with the learning partner. Here are a few things that I thought. Sometimes the Wind did things that Gilberto liked, and sometimes he didn't. The Wind could be nice and it could be mean. Gilberto kept playing with the Wind even when the Wind did things he did not like. So now I want you to think, what do you think the central message of the text is based on the evidence we just reviewed? In other words, what message would you write in the middle of this slide? Think, share your ideas with your learning partner, or just share aloud. I'll bet you had some great ideas about the author's important message. This book has more than one message, and there are lots of different ways you could have responded. Maybe you said something like, sometimes our friends are nice and sometimes they're mean. Or maybe you said, the Wind is not a good friend. There are a lot of ideas that you could have had. I chose 3 possible important messages and I put them on the slide you see on the screen. I would like you to choose which message you think best matches the evidence we just reviewed. Listen to the messages I listed. The Wind is not a good friend. Sometimes our friends can make us angry, but we can still be friends. Sometimes friends are nice and sometimes they are mean. Now, your job is going to be to use your journal to record or write the important message that best matches the text evidence. Are you ready? Pause the video now to record or write. If you need to, pause the video now to take a moment to stretch or take a quick break.